It's time to become the best version of yourself and help others do the same. It's Monday morning, and we're talking success.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you on Monday morning Talking Success here from Pleasant Grove, Utah. And we got a special theme, and I think it just fits this time of year. It's about real calm. Once again, I've looked back a number of years. We have a decade of educational jewels that Dr. Allison Caldwell Andrews gave us. And I have unearthed another one of those jewels, and it's about real calm. And so we're going to give away this tumbler that says, My Daily Calm. So that's what we're going to give away today, everybody. So I see a bunch of you on here already. And so chat in, if you haven't yet, chat in so that we can put you in the drawing for this awesome My Daily Calm. I don't know if you have watched this recently, for those of you who maybe are going to watch this recording, a couple of weeks ago, I presented another past educational jewel from Dr. Caldwell Andrews that was also about calm and the importance of calming herbs, calming nutrients in our daily habits. And so this today fits together with 2 weeks ago, both of these. So if you didn't see the one 2 weeks ago, go back and watch it, okay? Take a few minutes and watch it, and then watch these two together, and you'll have done yourself a big favor for 2026, because real calm, true calm, is really the essence of health, mind and body wellness. That's a benefit. It's something that's early and easily visible. When we've got things in balance, we can get that calm in our life. Even if there's craziness going on, we can still get that calm, those moments of calm. And so that's what we're focusing on. It just seemed like the right time of year to bring that up, starting out a new year and also coming out through what for so many people is a really busy holiday season. Calm's a good one, isn't it? All right, so I'm just looking over here at our chat board. Hello to so many of you. I see a couple of you say, I need that tumbler. Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. In fact, in the last training that I shared from Dr. Allison, she presented the Bledsoe Bullet, which is Soul Vital mixed with Soul Renew. And you know what? Since we talked about that, I've done a couple of those and I love them. I haven't done those in a while. Soul Vital, Soul Renew, they'll work great in this tumbler for today. We call it a couple of things. It's known as Revital. That mix is Revital, like revitalizing, but it's also the Bledsoe Bullet. All those years ago, it was presented that way. So you'll have to ask Valerie about that story, because that was something that came from Dr. Allison. Yeah, True Calm is a good one. Lydia says craziness will always be there. That's true. It's just how we feel as we go through it, right? We can deal with a little crazy. We just got to be able to find that calm again. It looks like Minnie tried the two too. Minnie says she tried the Soul Vital and the Soul Renew together. Today's going to be another focus in the calm category. But yeah, it's going to be worth it. So good to see you. Lots of you on here this morning from all parts of the country. We sure love seeing you here this Monday morning. And before we start into presenting this jewel of a training that Dr. Allison gave us, let's do a little bit of recognition. We talk about our success keys. We're going to jump right in there with one success key this morning we call Promo Pro. I love it because it's the essence of the Soul community. We run promos quite frequently, usually a couple or several times a month. There might be some sort of an offer with Soul's life-changing products. And promo pros are people who simply alert their connections. That's it. A promo pro is somebody who sees that special and goes, you know what, I'm going to tell some of my other Soul community friends about this, my Soul fam friends, so they can take advantage of it if that's what they would like to do. So we're going to honor our promo pros. These are people who shared it with at least 3 people. They had, or better said, during the month of December, this past month, they had at least 3 people take advantage of promos. And so they're getting the word out among their Soul family. We're going to honor them this morning. So success key as a promo pro. Let's talk about it and see who we got here. And there's Valerie right there at the top of the list. Well done. No surprise there, Valerie. Love to see it. Tammy Peterson, also a very frequent promo pro. Sarah Spencer. Well done, Sarah. Pat Alakim. Good job, Pat. Olinda Borden. Well done, Olinda. Luz Moya Chipana. You are a promo pro. Janet Vergara. Janet's a promo pro. Lisa Kanapke, another good one. Lydia Ferrantino, no surprise, Lydia. Leticia Luna is a promo pro. Chris DeVilliers, no surprise there. Chris, well done. Jorge Luna Alvarado, another promo pro in the month of September. Jaliva Carr, I'm not surprised to see Jaliva there. She jumps in with the Soul Fam very, very frequently. And here's Gwen Jenkins. Well done, Gwen. Way to be a promo pro this last month. Gudelia Rojas. Well done, Gudelia. Eric Patterson. Great job, Eric. Denise Norbit. Well done, Denise. Debbie Perez Cockburn is a promo pro. Betty Runkle, another wonderful promo pro here in the Soul family. Aurora Calvillo in Northern California. Well done, Aurora. And Anita Carpenter. I know that Anita goes to extra lengths to be a promo pro because she's got some of her Soul family who they don't really connect in with the electronics so much. So she'll still find ways to get the news to them. Love that. Angela Brzeski. Well done, Angela. Good job. Alvaro Medina. He and his better half are the Medina Gente Fina. That's what I like to call them. Very fine people. And then we have Alan Reed, who's also a promo pro. So well done, Alan. Okay, great job, all of you this month. Now we have one other recognition we'd like to make. As you might know, and let's show that here first. Let's show the webpage for the next big gathering here in the next, we're really talking a couple of months now. Here we are, the first week of January, first week of March. What is that? That's 2 months away. We're going to all head down to South Padre Island, a beautiful part of Texas and near Mexico and on the Gulf. And we're going to get together as a Soul family and more than anything, spend time sharing together. We'll do a little bit of training. We'll have a lot of activities. You can still get your ticket. We got a great group there. I haven't even counted it in the last few days, but it's a large group. I think I'm not sure. It might be 50 or 60 leaders that are heading down there. If you would like to rub shoulder, even if you're newer, with some of the wonderful sharers, and there's a lot of promo pros that are going down there in the Soul family, come down and be with us in South Padre. If you have any questions, call us at customer support. There is a little like product item, which is your ticket for South Padre. And just remember, all the dinners and activities are going to be paid for by Soul. So you can get down there and it will be at minimal expense. In addition, we have ways that you can earn some South Padre cash so that you can enjoy that trip even more. And I'm looking at a few of you on there that I know are already signed up. Yeah, Jaleva's, she's saying, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see you all. Minnie's going to be there. A bunch of them, a bunch are going to be there. So you want to be there. We're going to be there as well from the home office. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Now let's just recognize some people here this morning that have earned some cash. As I mentioned, we announced a few months ago ways to earn cash. There are 4 opportunities because each month is a new opportunity. Doesn't matter if you missed one in the past. This month's a new opportunity. So January, brand new opportunity. And we had November and December, January and February, 4 times that you can earn. So now we've only had 2. 2 of those months have passed. You got 2 more before. You've got January, February before we meet in South Padre. You can earn travel cash too. Take a look and you can see what the requirements are. Here are people who earn more travel cash. I don't have totals for you. Those vary by individual, but these are people we wanted to celebrate this morning who earned travel cash for South Padre in December. And December's a busy month, a lot of family and activities going on there. So we know this is doubly impressive. Valerie Bledsoe is our first honoree. Lydia Ferrantino, Anita Carpenter, Jaliva Carr, Jackie Stevens, Eric Patterson. These all are people who earn travel cash for South Padre in December. Abigail Frederick. Well done, Abigail. Debbie Perez Cockburn. Good job, Debbie. Ashley Brannon and Tammy Peterson also earned travel cash in December. Kristen Brunas. KB, well done. Marisol Villa. Good job, Marisol. Betty Runkle earned travel cash. Kristen Alexander. I love this list. It's a big old long list. Lisa Manchester. Well done, Lisa. Maria Balderas. Good job, Maria. Lisa Kanapke earned some travel cash. Angela Brucheski. I'm thinking Angela might be the last. Yep, she's the last one. So well done, every one of you. Lots of other people did some great sharing with Soul. We're going to recognize you in coming weeks on Monday morning. But these are the group that earned travel cash heading down to South Padre. Now, if you don't find yourself on this list, never fear, as I said, only one half of the opportunity has passed. The second half, still to come. You've got January and you've got February. So get yourself some nice travel cash. Join us at South Padre Island. We spend some time together. All righty. Let's now get into the training that I committed to share with you. This comes from the one and only Allison Caldwell Andrews. If you do not know her, if you're newer to Soul, take some time and come to Soul events. By the way, Dr. Caldwell Andrews will be in South Padre. You can rub shoulders with her down there as well. So take some time. She is one of a kind. I have worked over my career that is now 35 years in this industry with a number of PhDs and scientists who really knew their stuff. I have never met anyone who has the skill set of Dr. Allison. She has a brilliant mind. She has a modest heart. She is a very, very talented speaker and teacher. She puts things in ways that I can understand, all the science there, and I'm not a scientist. And she really, truly understands holistic wellness, that connection between physical health, to put it that way, and mental and emotional health, how they are one, and how the interplay is something we have a little more control than we think about, how we strengthen ourselves there and what a difference we can make. So that's the Dr. Allison. You can see the Dr. Allison that I know. You can see her qualifications on the slide. So I'm not going to go through them today. She did her postdoc at Yale, and she has all the background, really such an impressive background. We feel fortunate and blessed to have her as part of the Soul family. And she presented this a number of years ago. She taught us about real inner calm, that to relax, we have to improve the functioning of those inner health processes in the body. And we actually can. That's the good news. There are some simple things we can do to improve the inner functioning of our body that can help bring us that real relaxed calm. So now she gave this presentation at the same time of year, and that's why I'm sharing it with you today. She says, December, for whatever reason, is a month full of traffic jams, metaphorically speaking. It's so busy. More stress, more skipping meals, more processed foods, unfortunately, sugar everywhere, indigestion, fatigue, discouragement, irritation. These are all words that many people will use to describe their experience through the month of September. Now, there's lots of good experience as well, but these also are so often thrown in there, and they are part of our experience. Now, you look at that picture, the traffic jam. I'm looking at the big semi trucks on that freeway, and that's the sugars everywhere to me because people make these great treats, right? And so, but you know what? To somebody else, those big semis, which seem to dominate the traffic jam or the stress, could be discouragement. It could be loneliness or social isolation. This is something that is real and that we want to be a positive help for through the Soul family. These are part of these traffic jams. And so often with the traffic jam, we might say, in looking at our own life or lives of somebody close around us, there's a wreck on the highway. I mean, maybe that wreck's me. Maybe that wreck is somebody that I know, that I'm close to. And she says, the wreck on the highway, part of the cause for the wreck, it's these famous food groups, fats, carbs, proteins. Okay, they are a contributing factor to the wreck on the highway this time of year. And by the way, where are the minerals? Where are the vitamins? Where are these other key nutrients that our body needs to maintain that balance, to fix the wreck and set things right, get the traffic flowing again, so to speak. Well, one of the reasons for this, says Dr. Allison, is enzyme deficiency. It is just a fact of life, and certainly with each passing year as we live longer, this becomes a bigger deal. But I would submit that many of the younger generation, including some children and teens and early adults now, are dealing with this at a level we never saw, even just a few decades ago. And enzyme deficiency leads to all sorts of imbalances that can sort of rob us of that inner calm. Heartburn, acid indigestion are just a few of them, but also fatigue, pain, and a much longer list. These are just a few that Dr. Allison mentioned. And she reminds us that what we're dealing with today is a deficiency in enzymes, both because the foods don't have them, they should have them, but they don't. We do too much processed food, but also because of general health factors and enhanced levels of stressors. In our world, we also aren't producing enough in the body, and we need them for the various food groups. There's a little chart of proteases or proteolytic enzymes for the proteins, lipases, fat-degrading enzymes for the fats, amylases, and other sugar-degrading or sugar-digesting enzymes for carbs and sugars. And here's what Dr. Allison says. In other words, you just can't expect your body to take in food and be done with it. We kind of want it to be that way. I eat food, I got energy, and I'm done with it. Doesn't work that way, especially nowadays. Our body needs enzymes for the nutrients to do us any good at all. It's not just what we eat, it's what we absorb, right? That's the saying. I love this picture of the little girl with their head. Why didn't I realize that, or somehow I've forgotten that? It seems so logical and so obvious. I've got to be able to break down foods to the form that my cells can use them for me to ever get the energy or ever get the rejuvenation, the repair, the fixing that the body does on a daily basis, reacting to the stresses that tend to break down wellness. So yeah, it's a pretty obvious solution when you think about it. And enzymes need to be thought of in our life and in everyone's as essential nutrients. They are nothing less than that. They are catalysts. They cause change, which is necessary and vital for health. And they can become exhausted and deficient. Absolutely, they can so easily become deficient. Put it this way, says Dr. Allison, we're wasting all the food and even some supplements if we don't have the enzymes with which to break them down. Now, Soul, when we formulate, we make sure and include enzymes. An example would be Longevity, which has plant-based D3, which you don't absorb if you don't have fats. It's a fat-soluble vitamin. And so in that same formula, we put good fats, knowing this, because of what Dr. Allison says right here. We have to have the enzymes to take advantage of the foods. We can't just eat the foods and be done with it. So our body does plan on getting plenty of enzymes from the food, meaning that it's contained in the food. But when the enzymes that normally come with food are destroyed, our body has to supply them. Well, guess what? Our body's not prepared for that quantity, that sheer volume of enzymes on a long-term basis. We can do it short-term to some degree, but long-term, we're not going to make enough when the food we eat doesn't have it with it. And that becomes a stress on the body. The body goes into a stress-laden state, trying to mitigate the need and the lack, and gets into hyperactivity trying to produce it and can cause chronic imbalance. So Dr. Allison says simply this: your organs, they're not big enough to produce all the enzymes to digest the standard American diet. They just aren't. She mentions a couple of descriptors. You'll have to ask her about those, and she can tell you more about pancreas hypertrophy and exocrine insufficiency. I'm not going to talk about them today. But here's how enzymes work, she says. They're shortcuts. They're very specific. An enzyme is limited, its work is limited to a single kind of molecule or a small group of related kinds of molecules. So enzyme. An enzyme doesn't work for everything. It works in a specific area. We need different enzymes for different things, she says. And by the way, enzymes are unique. They don't get destroyed by stomach acid. What does that mean? It means you can take them in a supplement. They don't get destroyed as they go through your stomach, as some things may. What determines how well enzymes work has to do with your pH level in your body, how acidic or alkaline is your body, and also temperature affects when and how enzymes can work. So we sometimes think of all the digestion in our stomach because so much happens there. But many enzymes don't work in the stomach. They do their work beyond the stomach or prior to the stomach. Some start in the mouth and in chewing. And so many happen in the small intestine. So she gives us an example here. pH and enzymes. She says plant enzymes work in a pH range of between 3 and 9. Pancreatic enzymes, so those are enzymes your pancreas makes. Amylase, lipase, trypsin, I think, are 3 of them for all 3 food groups. They work at a range between 7 and 9. So they won't work in the stomach. They need to do their work in the small intestine. Okay, here's a quiz. Let's pause. Let's pause for a second. All this information from Dr. Allison, and let's take a quiz. This is the quiz she gives us. What is the most complicated food group for the body to digest? Which one is it? Is it carbs? Is it proteins? Is it fat? I'm going to take a second. Those of you who are not driving your car while you're listening to this and can type in your answer to this quiz. Which is the most complicated food group for the body to digest? Now, that's a pretty definite statement. It's the most complicated, very descriptive, specific. Which is the most complicated? It doesn't necessarily mean it's the hardest, the most complicated, okay? And I will just tell you something right now. I got this wrong. So if you get it wrong, you're just like me. And I've been around this for 35 years, and I still got this question wrong. Okay, so don't worry. Throw your answer out there. Okay, we've got proteins out there. Lydia says fats, and Maria says proteins. And let's see, we got 1 carbs. Rachel says carbs with a question mark. She's not quite sure, but she's putting carbs. Let's see. Fats. Let's see. Somebody guessed the word interesting. That doesn't count. You got to pick one. Carbs, proteins, and fats. Which one is it? Keep going, everybody. Put them in there. I'm really curious. As I say, I got it wrong. And you might go, well, Gall, how many presentations has Greg been in around scientists and he still got this wrong? Well, I think digestion, first of all, we're learning more about it all the time, but it is super complex, really, when you think about it. Okay, I'm seeing some more fats, carbs, proteins. Okay, yeah. All right, everybody, good guesses in there for a bunch of you. I have to tell you, I was surprised by this. The answer is carbs are the most complicated to digest. And the reason Dr. Allison says it is because they require several stages, different, distinct stages. There's the cellulose layer where you got to chew it to get rid of it. She's going to come back to that. The salivary and pancreatic amylase that digests starch, which actually starts in the mouth when you're chewing, and simple sugars to glucose. Now, honestly, there's more she could have written in here, but she illustrates the fact that there are multiple phases to carbohydrate digestion. So the engineer, in anyone, or the mathematician, let's say it that way, math kind of makes sense to me, tells me that the more stages there are, the more points of breakdown that are possible. Because any one of those, if something's not right, if it doesn't happen, will affect all of the others. So a complicated process is a process where we could theoretically experience more challenge. Well, and that's why carbs are such a big deal. So here's what Dr. Allison says. I love her humor, but I can't. Most people experience discomfort from intestinal gas after eating raw vegetables and not chewing them thoroughly enough to remove the cellulose layer. The cellulose layer is what can cause intestinal gas. So she talks about how the failure to properly digest carbs often results in intestinal gas. So adding the cellulase enzyme will help you. I want to eat raw materials, but I don't feel good when I eat, raw vegetables, but I don't feel good when I eat them because I get intestinal gas. Maybe a lot of you can pick some raw veggies that cause gas, and that gives you an indicator of where the issue is in terms of enzymes and digestion. Cellulase will help with that and is present in Vertizymes, the calming product which is the focus of this presentation from Dr. Allison. And look, this is what Dr. Allison does. She throws these nuggets in there. And if you don't watch for them, you'll miss them. They're like a needle in a haystack with all this educational material. And I'm telling you right now, there's one right on this slide, and it's the second bullet point. She says, since cellulose is attached to short-chain fatty acids, good fats that your body needs, cellulase, the enzyme, will free up this good fat for you. There are good fats in a number of really good veggies. We have some of them in our Avant greens. And we can be eating them and not getting them because we're not entirely digesting the cellulase, or we have other problems that she'll mention here in just a second. But that one little point of adding cellulase enzyme to your diet, which we have in Vertizymes, can also free up your good fats and have you absorb more of them if you're eating them. And you'll feel a difference there. Good fats, remember, they improve thinking, they softer skin, better eye, almost every function you can think of benefits from more good fats. And who would have ever thought that cellulase is one of those little keys? It's a gem of a concept that everyone should share. It's a secret that shouldn't be a secret. That cellulase enzyme will help you absorb better good fats, and Dr. Allison throws that in here. Here's the group of enzymes in Vertizymes. There are amylases, proteases, lipases, and disaccharidases, maltase and invertase. All of these you see listed here, and among the proteases, there are 4 kinds. She doesn't list all 4 of them here. We have 4 sources of them in Vertizymes. But notice how many of them are there in that first group, the top group of this slide, the amylases, for that most difficult group of foods, most complicated, maybe is a better word, more complicated group of foods to digest, which is the carbohydrates. That is why there is a greater variety and number of enzymes in Vertizymes toward that group. So she goes into a little more detail. We're going to go quickly. Rachel's asking me, what do I get for guessing the right answer? Because she guessed carbs right. Oh, I'd have to think about that, Rachel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Minnie says, I got to take more enzymes with my bread. Wow. Yeah. She's going to mention grains in a second here, Minnie. Amylase, look at this. Digestive starches, complex carbs. High levels of it are found in grains and fruit if we're getting them in their raw state. Amylase begins its work in our mouth. It continues. If we supplement it, it can continue. It's just like cellulase, which lets that complicated food group work continue with less interruption so that we absorb more of the active components from it. Okay, it allows carb digestion to continue in the stomach when you supplement with amylase. You want this. You don't want interrupted digestion. You want continuous work so that the food gets to the state it needs to be at by the time it comes in contact with your blood in the small intestine, and you're able to bring nutrients to the cells that your cells can use. Glucoamylase is another one in Vertizymes that's part of the same group. It's a plant-based enzyme. Beans, peas, nuts, seeds, so good for you. They need glucoamylase for you to get the benefit out of them. That's an important group. Beans, peas, nuts, seeds. We need the glucoamylase. It's there in Vertizymes. All right. Invertase breaks down sucrose into glucose and fructose, which are more readily absorbed into the blood. So invertase is an important additional component for this big group of carbohydrates to get them to the place where the body can use them more readily. Dr. Allison reminds us that certain cells in the small intestine secrete invertase. Our body does produce it. They stimulate insulin secretion, so they're very important in blood sugar management as well. But we don't do enough of it for the typical diet. Supplementing with it can make a huge difference for the body. It lets the body catch up and repair where it's become overworked and broken down. Maltase is the next one. It's closely related to amylase, again, part of this group for this complicated family of nutrients that are carbohydrates. Now, these last two, we're just going to spend a little teeny bit of time on lipase. That's the enzyme to break down fats. I've already talked a little bit about that. Dr. Allison presented fats are critical to good health, to your brain, and to every part. You don't even absorb certain vitamins. Your immune system requires them. Your vital organs require them. Your very cell walls to allow in what should be allowed in and keep out what should not enter requires good fats. They're important in everything. Our nervous system needs them. In order to be protected. And lots of things break down these protective layers of fat. So we need to constantly supply good fats to the body so that it can repair and build. So when we don't digest fats all the way, Dr. Allison says, then fats are allowed to coat other food particles, which makes us not be able to digest them either. So not breaking down fats doesn't just prevent us from getting the good fats. It, to some degree, gets in the way of us getting nutrients from other food groups. That's another nugget I did not know until Dr. Allison taught us this. Therefore, Veritazymes has lipase. Lipase helps our body break down fats. We need it. If we don't have enough of it, our cells do not open up to nutrition as well as they could. What's called cell permeability. Nutrients can't get through as easily when we're low on good fats. So supplementing will help overall digestion and overall health. And then we get to the final group, the protease enzymes. These are the enzymes that break down proteins. We've got to break proteins down to their components, to amino acids. Then they can get absorbed in the blood. They help our immune system. They help against inflammation. They help the body repair damage. They do so many important things. They're involved in pain and how our body manages pain. When there are blood clots, they help dissolve them. The proteolytic enzymes, our understanding of them, in my opinion, this is after 35 years of listening to doctors like Dr. Allison, our understanding is maybe the tip of the iceberg of what they really do. We know they're very important. We know that when you bring more of them into your diet, good things happen in your health. And that's why in Veritazymes, we included 4 different kinds, not just one. Usually formulas have 1 or 2. This formula of Veritazymes has 4 different types of proteases. They all thrive in slightly different pH ranges. By us having all 4 of them, we cover the broadest range of acid condition in the body so that we can have the health that we need and they can help body complete digestive functions. So, says Dr. Allison, protease is one example, but you could say this about all of them. They're about more than just digestion. There are also emotional, mental benefits to having them supplemented in our diets. A healthy body helps a healthy mind. We need both to have happy life, right? Here's an example, a little bit illustrating the various protein digestive enzymes. I was showing these slides over the weekend to my son, Ethan, who's visiting us, and he said, how'd you get that picture of me? So this is not my son, Ethan. However, I did go to the gym with him over the weekend, and I watched Ethan deadlift 500 pounds. You heard me say that right. 500 pounds. He deadlifted. You've got all this weight on a bar. You bend over and you simply lift it off the ground until you're standing straight up. That is a deadlift. Takes quite a bit of... Ethan, by the way, he's my size. I'm not the biggest guy. He is my size, and he did that. Now, I will say Veritazymes, they play a big role in this because they help the body repair and rebuild, including muscles. The Germans did studies on this and showed that after a lot of exercise, they would repair more quickly with more proteolytic enzymes in the diet. In other words, they help us digest our proteins, but if you take them separately at night, they help the body repair. They're used for other things like this example of weightlifting. In addition, our formula has 2 fibers, konjac and xanthan, in very small amounts in order to coat and bind to the enzymes so that they can move outside of the stomach. And instead of in 25 minutes there's digestion, it's more like 45 minutes. So that time allows them to get into the small intestine and do their work where they're even more efficient. So Vertizymes has a couple of secret powers. One of them is the multitude of proteolytic enzymes, which we doubled the dose of. I don't know that I mentioned that. The other is the FiberTrack blend, which makes it like a time release. So it's very good to take at night as well. And then here's the last point on this slide. We have 4 complementary herbs. 2 herbs to stimulate and soothe digestion, bring calmness, along with stimulation of digestion, marshmallow and peppermint, and 2 herbs that bring calmness to the mind, passion flower and wood betony, well known to calm the central nervous system and to give us that versatility, adaptability to stressors where we rebound more quickly back to center and we don't get distressed or chronic ailments out of these stressors that are just going to come in life. So those are a couple of extras, bonus ingredients, if you will, to Vertizymes that make it such an effective formula. So Dr. Allison sums it all up by saying Vertizymes with a meal will help you better digest the food and actually receive the nutrients. We talked about why today. Vertizymes between meal, the second point, work throughout the body targeting general health concerns. We listed some of them: inflammation and pain and a weak immune system, and et cetera, and et cetera. Enzymes can be taken both ways, with food, without food. Vertizymes can be taken both ways because of its unique formula and the herbs that are included for mind and body wellness. When we do it this way, we can more quickly get to a balanced health state, and that is where we find real calm, says Dr. Allison. So this nugget, that wraps up the sharing for this morning. I loved this just as I loved the Renew training she gave us. I feel like it's a timeless little class that can always be a benefit to us when things aren't quite the way we want them to be or we aren't feeling quite the way we want to feel. It serves us well to look inside at those inner processes on how we're getting nutrition. Are we breaking it down? Is it getting to the cells? And how are we balancing our stressors and maintaining calmness? This one thing today is something will be always useful to us, always useful. And we can use it with our meals and we can use it separately as well. So Vertizymes, it's a great thing to keep in mind. It's a secret that should not be a secret. If you thought of someone today who maybe is going through some of the things that Dr. Allison talked about, share this with them. Give them the link. Let them know where they can get this education. It'll change the way they look at their health and what they can do about it. All right, let's draw for our winners. And then I've got a couple of quick announcements. So we got lots of people in the bowl today. All right. So I'm going to pick somebody out here for the Calm tumbler, and it is Sue Friesen.
Yes.
Look at you, Sue. Sue Friesen, you just won. You won your daily Calm. And I know Sue, and I know she knows what a big deal that enzymes are, and also Renew, Soul Renew, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. So well done, Sue. All right, everybody, I have 2 announcements for you as we sign off today. First one is, take a note. 1 week and 1 day from now is another special showcase. These are stories of hope and success using Soul products, people telling their own story about how Soul and these products have changed their life. They're meant to be events that you can invite people to. We don't talk about other things. We simply talk about that we allow our guests to tell their story, and hopefully people listening to them will see that it can be that way for them as well if they apply the same principles, and maybe they just might find themselves in the same situation with something that is shared that night. So take a note, January 13th, 6 p.m. Utah time. Join us for the Soul Showcase. We're going to kick off the year with that one. So that is not this week, it's next week, Tuesday night, all right? We will see you there on January 13th. And the second announcement that I have is our virtual kickoff. This is one for all soul brand specialists. You can invite other friends as well, but this is more particularly for all our brand specialists here in the Soul family who take that extra step, who are all in, and they're sharing everything Soul has to offer, its products, but also its opportunity. We're going to do that also on a Tuesday. This is the last Tuesday of January, the 27th, 6 p.m. Utah time. Take a picture of that on your phone, stick it in your calendar. We want to see you there. We're going to do lots of fun things, and we'll talk about the great walk together that we're planning this year. A couple of times I think we're going to run together, but we're going to have a wonderful walk moving forward the soul mission and vision, which is mind and body wellness and personal uplift through positive community at Soul Naturals. Thank you for joining me this morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you. We'll see you next Monday on Monday Morning Talking Success.